Let's be honest, most of us don't answer calls from numbers we don't recognize. But what happens when that call is really from your bank, your healthcare provider, or even your phone company? Today I'm joined by Maurie Munro from Transaction Network Services, or TNS. We're talking about how companies can restore that trust and how partners play a big role in making it happen. Welcome, Maurie.
Thank you, Sydney. Appreciate you having me.
Before we dive into the issues, can you tell us a little bit about TNS? Who you are, what you do, and how you support the market today?
Sure. TNS is really focused in, I'd say, three key areas, specifically carrier call processing, payment processing, and the clearing of financial market transactions. I'm certainly partial, but most importantly, we are very focused in the area of delivering name displays to smartphones, something all of us wish would happen probably more often. And in addition to that, we also focus in the area where enterprises, unfortunately, are being targeted by bad actors. And those bad actors are impersonating those enterprises and calling on the customers of the enterprises for purposes to monetize and kind of take advantage of those individuals in ways they can collect money from. So we focus very specifically in stopping that type of behavior.
Call spoofing and non branded calls are growing problems. From a partner's perspective, how widespread is this issue today, and why does it matter for the businesses they serve?
No, it's a huge problem. And as I'm going to allude to a few times during this conversation, we've seen how all of us as consumers just wish some of these calls would stop. We wish we could see name displays more frequently to know who's calling. And partners who support large volumes of customers themselves, enterprises, if you will, need to get the word out. And if they would go back to that base of customer or even new potential opportunities to work with new enterprises, notify of this capability, it would expand their reach. It's a great excuse to circle back and talk to these enterprises. So, by all means, partners need to know that this is a great avenue to reconnect if need be, or just simply inform them of how technology can protect them.
When customers stop answering unknown numbers, I'm guilty myself. It doesn't just hurt enterprises, it impacts customers and the likelihood of missing critical calls. How does branded calling help restore that trust?
Just as you mentioned, we get in a bad habit of ignoring any call that doesn't have a name display from an enterprise we recognize. And so the conditioning of ignoring calls has significantly decreased the connection between enterprises and consumers. So we look to increase this recognition of who's calling by just adding a name. And in doing so, reestablish that connection where just even a few years ago it was so much more significant, but now it just seems to be getting to the point where we're losing that connection and need to restore it.
Regarding the significant problem of impersonators trying to call consumers, how are enterprises negatively affected? What can partners do to assist enterprises with a potential spoof solution?
I think that first and foremost, partners need to let the enterprises know that the problem can be stopped. It's not a complicated effort to establish the enterprise as the only one that can call from their numbers. It's actually a very easy process. And in doing so, partners can help these enterprises make the connection to TNS. And just by bringing us on to the call, we can illustrate the simplicity and the capability to, in all cases, triple, quadruple answer rates. And it's only because you put a name on there. And when that person recognizes the enterprise, we all know, I myself included, I would answer the call more just knowing who's calling.
For partners who may be hearing enterprise branded calling for the very first time, can you walk us through what it actually looks like in practice? And why is it different from other solutions?
Yeah, we have to go back a little ways. Some of us has seen this technology depending on how old we have gotten, but back even 30 years ago, we used to get name displays that would deliver to the landline phones. And after enough years, we thought it was kind of a default solution, customary. What we didn't catch necessarily was that when calls went to wireless phones or smartphones, the name display didn't populate the same way it did on wireline phones. And what's hopefully something I can illustrate is you actually have to provision your name with the carriers that you're calling for the wireless terminations. So TNS is the provider that can make that happen. We can take the enterprise name and update it with AT&T Wireless, T-Mobile, or even Verizon Wireless, and in doing so, establish that connection that you thought may have been a guaranteed service, but one you actually have to now initiate. So it's a connection we want to make. It's a connection we want to help enterprises know they need to make.
And when partners take this to customers, they want results they can point to. One powerful example is Verizon customer care. Can you walk us through what happened there, what that shows about the kind of impact partners can deliver, and how they can use those results to start stronger conversations with their own customers?
Yeah, I think that in generalizing contact centers and maybe using Verizon customer care as an example, the first and most immediate reaction was the answer rate. It's not uncommon that answer rates go below 10% for contact centers when not branding their calls. So by simply branding your call, it wouldn't be unrealistic to get 20, 30, 40% answer rates, even higher. And as a result of that, just think about how that changes the customer experience. Think about what that means to the agent that's making that outreach and the reestablished trust that customer has with the enterprise. I think that when this solution is brought by partners who are working to build confidence with their customers, they're seen as a technology advocate that brought something as critical as branded name. While, yes, simple in nature, but without it, the impact to the customer experience is detrimental significantly. So I think partners collectively just need to know that they can provide this insight and in doing so, really reestablish consumer trust with the enterprise.
Fraud tactics are evolving quickly, even with AI generated voices. How is TNS helping partners stay ahead so their customers remain protected?
We all, unfortunately, have probably been contacted by somebody claiming to be there with an enterprise, and we ultimately know they're not. This happens a lot in the financial services sector. They ask for money. It's a simple way that they create a story. They want you to either Zelle them money, they want you to read back a code, but they're effectively attempting to monetize that interaction with you and defraud you. With what we are able to do, we can ensure that any origination of a call, any call attempt can only be made by that enterprise. It's an easy process, as I mentioned. And in doing so, any attempted origination from anybody other than the financial institution, for example, would fail. And that's a key component to protecting customers. And one key area is that enterprises need to know that they're the ones that can fulfill this. And without it, their customers are exposed. Technology is changing, the virtual environments are changing, and sometimes enterprises need to really take this obligation to announce who they are when they call and to ensure that their customers are protected. So it is an obligation, it is a new expectation of enterprises, but with the shift to virtual work environments and sometimes the brick and mortar offices closing down, this might be the new way that enterprises really announce themselves when they call. They can't put a sign on the building if they don't have a building, but we want the enterprises to really embrace this opportunity to announce when they call.
So we've seen the proof. Now let's talk about the real opportunity for our audience. Beyond solving a problem, this also creates new revenue streams. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for partners to grow by adding branded calling and spoof solutions into their portfolios?
I think that we want partners to recognize this gap. I've alluded to it, how it takes place in branded calling and certainly in spoofed solutions where these products can really solidify the relationship between enterprises and their consumers. By adding branded calling and even logo, we haven't talked a lot about that, but logo is a capability that can further enhance the consumer's trust as to who's calling. And then ultimately, by adding spoof, consumers can finally not be so apprehensive. There is a concern that AI is going to be negatively used in this case, and we all know what could happen. You could receive a call from an individual who sounds a lot like a family member, but unfortunately it's not, and they could attempt to, again, defraud you. So partners need to grasp how this gap, as I alluded to, is critical to reestablishing trust between enterprises and consumers, and they need to educate their customers, their enterprises, on how important it is.
Partners also want to know how easy this is to roll out. What does onboarding look like, and how does TNS make it simple for partners to deliver value quickly?
It's sometimes it's shocking how easy. I mean, tell me the name you want displayed on the wireless carriers, and we'll provision it. It may be at the most 2 to 3 weeks of provisioning time, and that's probably pushing it. As a result of that, the revenue realization for the partners is also greater because of how the models work to connect TNS back to the partner for any residual compensation. So we want it to be that way. And then as you move into spoof, it might just be 2 to 3 more weeks where you can connect the enterprise contact center, the enterprise PBX, if you will, and ensure it's the only place where calls can be originated by that enterprise. And when that happens, everyone else and all those attempts, they all fall on the floor. So again, the simplicity is what I alluded to, and it's important that when put into motion, it can be done so quickly, and most importantly, it can be done so very effectively, benefiting that consumer and that experience.
Looking ahead, what is the long term opportunity for partners who align with TNS right now?
The long-term opportunity is, number one, we're a great excuse to call your customer. A lot of times, any partner is looking to revisit conversations with enterprises where they may want to discuss additional solutions in the voice channel, specifically in the data space. And in doing so, these products give you inroads to have conversations that might ask, hey, do you have a contact center where your calls launch that I could protect? And if so, is it on-prem or is it in the cloud? And do you have support if you need to make any changes potentially in that arena? Additionally, you might ask, do you have a data solution that satisfies this real-time application that is voice, and how critical it is that customers have an excellent experience when talking to you over a backbone that's reputable? So you can really take this dialogue that might just be at first like we started the call. Man, this technology could really help me trust the inbound calls again, and expand on the conversation into voice channel and data services. And from there, everything's open for discussion. So not only does it help the existing base, but think about the new potential and conversations that could be had just by walking up to somebody and complaining about the fact you don't know who's calling. It's a great conversation starter. It's a great icebreaker. So it's exciting to think how partners could expand on this conversation and really build the services we need deployed in a space that would benefit all of us.
That's a great point. The opportunity is only going to grow, and now is the time for partners to get ahead of it. Maurie, thank you so much for joining me.
No, I appreciate it, Sydney. Thank you very much.
To learn more about partnering with TNS and how enterprise-branded calling can help you deliver trusted communication to your clients, visit the website right there on your screen. For the Channel Company, I'm Sydney Neely. Thanks for watching.